Hamielyn Ortiz, 22 years old, a fourth-year student in Negros Oriental State University Mabinay campus, taking a Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Filipino. And for today's video, I'm going to discuss the educational system, the program or courses for teachers, the qualification for teachers, the benefits for teachers, and the issues and concerns for teachers of my chosen country, which is Australia. First is the educational system of Australia. So for more information, please watch this video.
Australian education system. You can study at all levels of education from primary and secondary school to vocational education and training, from English language courses to higher education, including universities. Regardless of what you are studying or how long you are studying for, Australia's laws promote quality education and protection for international students. As an international student on a student visa, you must study with an institution and in a course that is registered on the Commonwealth Register of Institutions and Courses for Overseas Students, CRECOS. CRECOS registration guarantees that the course and the institution at which you study meet the high standards expected by international students. Along with the ESOS Act and National Code, there are also regulatory and quality assurance organizations for higher education and VET institutions. These government organizations are responsible for registration or re-registration of institutions and accreditation or re-accreditation of courses. These organizations are Higher Education, Tertiary Education Quality and Standards Agency, TEQSA, VET, Australian Skills Quality Authority, ASQO. Primary, secondary and post-secondary education are all part of the Australian educational system. In Australia, school education refers to elementary and secondary education, whereas tertiary education, often known as post-secondary education, encompasses VET and further education, generally universities. School education. Only small differences exist across states and territories when it comes to school education. Between the ages of 6 and 16, compulsory schooling, primary and secondary, year 1 to year 9 or 10, is required. There are 3 types of schooling. Primary school lasts 7 or 8 years, from kindergarten or preparatory until year 6 or 7. Secondary school lasts 3 or 4 years, from year 7 to 10 or years 8 to 10 respectively. Senior secondary school, years 11 and 12, is a 2-year program. Government-funded public schools, as well as private schools such as Catholic and independent schools, provide primary, secondary and senior secondary education. Nearly 2/3 of Australian children attend public schools, which are free to Australian citizens and permanent residents, and attended by nearly 2/3 of the children in Australia. Vocational education. Vocational education and training, VET, is a sort of post-secondary education aimed at students who wish to enter the workforce right away and work in jobs that do not need a university diploma. VETs offer courses and training for semi-skilled, skilled, trade, and paraprofessional vocations, providing a more hands-on alternative to university education. The VET sector in Australia is regulated on a national level and is built on a collaboration between governments and business. Government colleges, known as Technical and Further Education (TAFE) institutes, as well as private colleges, provide VET credentials. VET courses are also offered as part of the curriculum at some senior secondary schools. These organizations are referred to as Registered Training Organizations collectively, RTOs. VET qualifications include certificates from levels 1 to 4, diplomas and advanced diplomas, which may be completed on their own or in combination with on-the-job training with an employer. Graduate certificates, graduate diplomas, and bachelors can also be earned at some VETs. Technical and further education institutions. Government-funded institutions for vocational education are known as technical and further education. TAFE institutes. TAFEs may be big schools with a wide range of degree offerings, and they regularly enroll more students than many universities. The TAFE industry is, in reality, Australia's largest education and training sector. Some TAFEs are associated with universities and can provide bachelor's degrees through the institution. Higher education. Higher education is a type of post-secondary education that leads to degrees such as bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees. All Australian universities and a few of VET institutes provide higher education courses. Note that course refers to the course of study that a student decides to pursue in Australia. Universities are Australia's principal institutions for higher education institutes, HEIs. In Australia, there are 41 universities. Except for one private and 2 overseas institutions, all Australian universities are government-funded. In all fields of study, universities provide a wide range of undergraduate, bachelor's, and postgraduate, master's and doctoral degree programs. Some universities have dual accreditation, allowing them to provide both VET and higher education programs. Universities have a more academic focus, with heavy emphasis on essay writing and exams. Students get much deeper knowledge of the field or subject matter they are specializing in, referred to as their chosen major or area of specialization. They also strengthen their personal attributes, developing professional and transferable skills rather than focusing only on industry-specific occupational skills. Due to the in-depth curriculum, undergraduate university courses are typically 3 or 4 years long, resulting in bachelor and honors bachelor degrees. Some universities also offer 2-year associate bachelor degree courses or programs. A bachelor degree is typically required for acceptance into professional programs, such as medicine or law, as well as for academic jobs, research-based careers, and professional roles like engineering or teaching. A bachelor degree is also required to pursue any postgraduate degrees, which can be a study-based or research-based master, followed by a doctorate degree, which is the highest level of academic standing students can achieve. The Tertiary Education Quality and Standards Agency, TEQSO, regulates and provides quality assurance for Australia's higher education institutions to ensure students get the same high caliber of education regardless of where they study. Schools. Length: 13 years in total, kindergarten or preparatory to year 12. Semesters: 4, usually called terms. Starts: late January or early February. English. Length: from 5 weeks to 1 year. Semesters: the year is split into weeks. Starts: throughout the year. Foundation. Length: 1 year, some may be longer. Semesters: the semester breaks will depend on your course. Starts: February, but can vary by course and institutions. Vocational education and training. Length: 1 to 4 years. Semesters: 2. Starts: February, but can vary by course and institutions. Undergraduate. Length: typically 3 years, 4 years for honors degree. Semesters: 2, although some institutions offer 3 semesters, trimesters. Starts: typically March, but can vary by course and institution. Postgraduate. Length: 1 to 2 years. Semesters: 2, although some institutions offer 3 semesters, trimesters. Starts: typically March, but can vary by course and institution. Doctoral. Length: 3 years, plus 1 year for review. Semesters: as most doctoral candidates do not attend class, there are usually no formal semesters. Starts: start dates are negotiated with PhD supervisor. There are 10 levels of qualifications that students can earn in Australia after completing their school education. The levels and the specific educational standards for each qualification are specified in and frequently referred to as the Australian Qualification Framework, AQF. Levels of qualifications. There are 10 levels of AQF. Level 1 is the very first level of tertiary education qualifications. Level 10 is the highest level of AQF, matched to the highest level of education a student can achieve, a doctorate degree. Types of qualifications. The various different qualifications that a student can achieve in Australia can be grouped into certificates, diplomas, and degrees. Certificates. Certificate courses are offered in schools and VETs, ranging from 6 months to 2 years in duration. These courses provide introductory skills and training, delivering industry-specific knowledge and skills in communication, literacy and numeracy, and teamwork. There are 4 distinct certificates. Certificate 1, 2, 3, and/or 4, which a student can earn. Each certificate marks the specific level of occupational skills and competencies gained through these courses. Certificate 1 is the lowest level of VET training, meeting the Level 1 criteria of a QF, while Certificate 4 satisfies the Level 4 requirements. Diplomas. Diplomas can be earned in vocational education and training, and in some higher education institutes. Diplomas fall into 3 subcategories. Diploma or regular diploma. Courses. Prepare students for industry, enterprise, and paraprofessional careers. Diplomas typically require 18 months to 2 years of full-time study. Advanced diploma courses provide a high level of practical skills for advanced skilled or paraprofessional work in areas such as accounting, building design, and engineering. Students can complete some advanced diploma courses at university level. Advanced diplomas vary in length from 2 to 3 years of full-time study. Graduate certificate and diploma courses provide high-level employment-related skills and knowledge. The graduate certificate usually requires 6 months to a year of full-time study, and the graduate diploma usually requires 1 to 2 years of full-time study. Degrees are typically granted by higher education institutes after the completion of an academic course and include bachelor degrees, typically earned after 3 years of full-time study. Students can also apply for an associate bachelor, a 2-year degree, or get specialized honors bachelor degrees after 4 years of full-time study. The bachelor degrees satisfy level 6, associate, 7, bachelor, and 8, honors of AQF. Master degrees, AQF level 9. Available after a bachelor degree for further specialization in chosen subjects. A master degree typically requires 1 to 2 years of full-time study. They could be course-based, such as an MBA or research or thesis-based. Doctorate or PhD, AQF level 10. Courses are typically research-based and often require students to have found a research supervisor at the university they are applying to. An honors bachelor or a master degree is a prerequisite for admission into a doctorate course.
The second one is the program or courses for the teachers of Australia. We have the Master of Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages. The Master of the SOL is suitable for a wide range of professionals, educators or prospective educators working in English language teaching in international or local context. And let's do a postgraduate qualification in TESOL, or which is Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages. And we have the Master of TESOL helps you understand the connections between theory and practice and the importance of developing strong principles of practices in English language teaching and learning. The second one, we have the Master of Education. Develop the skills and knowledge to a successful pace to practical challenges of English language. Teaching in a second language context. Using the latest research, this program investigates the theoretical basis of issues relating to applied linguistic and socio-cultural context of education. And we also have the Master of Education will develop your professional expertise and knowledge in the areas of applied linguistics and English language education, whether you are aspiring to become an English language teacher of children, adolescents, or adults. And we also have the Master of Education in Special and Inclusive Education. So, a special and an inclusive education stream in the Master of Education designed to address the increasing demands for knowledge and skills in teaching children and adults with disability. And we also have the Master of Teaching English to speakers of other languages. So the Master of Teaching English to speakers of other languages, or also known as TESOL, responds to a growing local and international demand for higher levels of knowledge and skills in the provision of TESOL education programs. The courses will appeal to prospective students who are seeking to advance their employment in youth and other learning contexts with Australia and abroad. And the number 3 is the qualification for teachers in Australia. So to teach in a Western Australian public school, including relief teaching, you must have recognized a tertiary teaching degree. So we have teaching qualification can be a Bachelor of Education of at least 3 years in duration in one of the following areas. We have early childhood education, the primary education, the secondary education, and a relevant 3-year bachelor's degree followed by a completed initial teacher education program such as a graduate diploma in education or a 2-year master of teaching. Any postgraduate initial teacher education courses must be delivered at level or 8 or above of the Australian qualification framework. And the professional registration to teach in Western Australia, all teachers must be registered with a Teacher Registration Board of Western Australia or TRBWA. Early childhood education. In early childhood, teachers are qualified to plan and implement education programs for students between 4 to 8 years old or kindergarten to year 2. Teachers working in kindergarten must have an early childhood qualifications. It's also recommended for teachers working in pre-primary to year 2. You need to recognize tertiary teaching degree to teach in a public school. The pathways for early childhood teachers include a Bachelor of Education, so early childhood 0 to 8 years old, and a 3-year degree followed by a graduate diploma of education, so which is early childhood students or master of teaching, early childhood department recognized primary teaching degree, and a diploma level or higher education and care qualification approved by the Australian Children's Education and Care Quality Authority, also known as ACE-CQA. So now let's proceed to the benefits for teachers in Australia. So the salary and benefits when teaching in Australia. Educators in Australia earn salaries ranging from $30,000 to $65,000 USD depending on the teacher's qualifications and level of education being provided. Salaries may also vary from state to state in Australia. Like salaries, benefits for teachers in Australia also vary from state and or dependent on the type of school. Teachers should expect similar vacation to North American schools and in some cases may also be eligible for surplus vacation time and rental subsidies. Teachers with more experience can also usually expect a higher salary and a more encompassing benefits package. Teachers have access to a range of competitive industry superannuation funds. Those in the public system can also take advantage of benefits such as salary packaging, which allows you to spend part of your pre-tax income on approved items, and relocation subsidies. Australian teachers are being encouraged to move to the regions to fill staff shortage, with cash incentives of to $50,000 up for grabs. In 2012, Australia had a 307,000 full-time equivalent teaching staff, according to the Australian Curriculum Assessment and Reporting Authority, or ACARA. And the last that we're going to discuss for today's video is the issues and concerns of teachers in Australia. Teacher shortages and student achievement. Australia is in the midst of a teacher shortage, which is affecting schools in unequal ways. Schools in rural, remote areas and those with higher levels of disadvantage have been shown to bear the brunt of these issues. Our suggest diversifying the teaching workforce can help address attaining and retaining teachers in schools and strengthen student outcome across the board. Diversity makes a difference. Why? It shows teachers from minority groups, such as teachers of colors, can increase student achievement, especially for students from the same groups. Evidence also suggests teachers from minority groups often hold higher expectations for their minority students compared with majority teachers. For example, black teachers tend to have higher expectation than white teachers of black students, and students respond to this with a greater effort. So teachers from minority groups can act as role models for people from similar backgrounds. So teachers from minority groups can also act as a cultural or bridges to parents and students from these groups, fostering a sense of belonging and facilitating cultural understanding among students and colleagues. And then the teachers from minority groups are also more likely to stay in a hard-to-staff schools, impacted the most during a staffing crisis. For example, teachers from ethnic minorities are more likely to teach and stay in schools with many minority students, and teachers from rural areas are more likely to teach and remain in rural schools. So that's it for today's video. Hope you have learned this. Thank you so much.